Hey, I'm Matt Manny. Thanks so much for joining me for today's devotional from the book, You Are Not Alone. Today we're looking at day 10, You're Not Alone When You Don't Know Your Next Step. This goes really well. It's kind of part 2 to yesterday's devotional thought of the concept we talked about yesterday, what to do when you don't know what to do. And today is specifically, we talked yesterday about taking that first step, but what if you say, but I don't know. I really am not having clarity from God on my next step. How do I walk through that? We have a lot of snowfall here in southeast Pennsylvania. Well, I should say we sometimes have snowfall here in southeast Pennsylvania. Some years it seems like we don't get anything. Other years we'll have a massive, just unexpected blizzard. Many years ago, I remember we had a big snowfall. My kids were so excited, really young at the time. And so they said, Dad, where's the best place to go sledding around here? So I went back in my mind and tried to think through some places that I had gone as a kid. And it brought me to mind of a national park called Valley Forge National Historic Park, where Washington spent the winter back, if you remember in your history books, back during the Revolutionary War. And I remember there's a big hill that was right next to a massive statue of a general by the name of Mad Anthony Wayne. He was perched high atop a horse on this statue that overlooked this massive hill that went down into a valley overlooking the Valley Forge area. And so we loaded up the kids in the van, got some warm clothes and jackets and scarves and gloves, things like that, and sleds, and we packed up and went to Valley Forge. And when we got there, I realized, well, that massive hill that Mad Anthony Wayne overlooked really wasn't that big of a hill. And so I remember the kids, they were kind of excited. I'm thinking, oh, what are we doing here? And so we loaded up, and it was fresh. Nothing, no one had been there. None of the snow had been impacted quite yet. It was all fresh snow, but it was really deep and really thick. So we loaded up in one of those long plastic sleds, myself and put 2 kids kind of sitting there in front of me, and we pushed and pushed and then kind of slid over down the hill. Now, the problem was, as small as the hill seemed from that vantage point at the top of the hill, when we got down to the bottom of the hill and I looked back up, I realized, I didn't think this through. We've got to trudge back up through this. So I got as much energy as I could to go ahead and start marching back up this snow that was probably a foot deep or so. And so as I'm marching back up the hill to go ahead and do another run or two, I look back and my kids, they're really young at the time. They're struggling trying to get up in their big puffy snow jackets, and then this, Dad, wait, what are we supposed to do? And I said, well, come on, let's go. And they said, we can't get through the snow, it's too thick. And then I said, well, just walk in my footsteps, walk where I walk. And it dawned on me that that's kind of how our walk with God is. And Jesus says that learn from me, walk with me, walk in my footsteps, follow me. That's what following really is. And so for David, he knew that the only steps worth taking were steps following God. Stepping in any other direction wouldn't take him where he needed to go. He needed to follow God. Psalm 17 verse 5, he says, my steps have stayed on your path. I have not wavered from following you. So David talks about his steps. In Psalm 32, he talks about how his steps are being ordered by God, that God promises to help us each step of the way. And so our encouragement today is from Psalm 37 verses 23 to 25. David writes that the steps of a good man, a good woman are ordered by the Lord, and that He will allow us to find our way, make our way plain, our path plain. And so my encouragement for us today is this. Whatever the last thing that God impressed upon your heart to do, think about losing your keys or losing a cell phone or your wallet, maybe something like that. And what's the best way to go about retracing your steps? You think about, where's the last time that I had my keys? Where's the last time I had my wallet? You think I had my keys when I was looking for some food in the refrigerator. Well, where did you find your keys? I left them in the refrigerator. Anybody ever done that? And the encouragement is, what's the last thing that God impressed upon your heart to do? Whatever was the last step that God asked you to do is the first step that He's inviting you to do right now. That your last step will be the right step for you today. Thanks so much for watching. The encouragement from today is taken from Psalm 37, verses 23 to 25. Thanks so much for watching.